Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Seer 365 session. Today, we are solving agribusiness accounting and ERP challenges. I am joined by John Melland, CEO at Leverage.
Hi, Rufus. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. As always, for a Seer 365 session, if you are watching live or on demand and you've got any questions whatsoever, please do feel free to get in touch by using the comment box below. If you're watching live, then we'll look to respond. And if you're watching on demand, then someone will be in touch shortly to assist. So without further ado, John, can you introduce yourself in a little bit more detail and what you do at Leverage?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. So, John Melland, I am the CEO of Leverage, and Leverage is ISV. I guess I should probably start using SDC now. SDC built on top of D365 Finance and Supply Chain. And also, if I slip into the F&O, hopefully everyone will forgive me because it's so much faster to say F&O. But Leverage is built on top of D365 Finance and Supply Chain. And we are built specifically for agribusiness, okay? And we kind of like to think about ourselves as elevating agribusinesses through technology. It's important that I kind of outline exactly what I mean by agribusiness, because there's a lot of differentiation within agribusiness. And specifically, Leverage is a solution that solves for all the problems for businesses that handle row crop type commodities. And that's why you see a soybean field behind me, a nice lush soybean field behind me. So we are building, or we have built functionality on top of D365 that solves for all of the unique things that happen with agribusinesses. Now, typically, when you think about agriculture, you think about farmers, and we are not built to solve the farm gate software for farming operations. It's more of that, what businesses, once they handle that first handle after harvest, the businesses that handle that commodity afterwards, all the way through processing. So we are specifically focused on those grain handlers. A lot of our customers right now, current customers, are in the processing vertical industry. So that would include mills, ethanol plants, soy crush facilities. But we also have customers that are kind of grain elevators and traders, those that handle the commodity to then sell it off to somebody else, ultimately the end user. So when we talk about agribusiness and the solutions that we have built on top of D365, we're talking about those types of businesses that handle those commodities. Now, there's also produce and other food and agribusiness entities that we can dabble into, and we're finding avenues towards new markets into those as well. But right now, we're mostly we have most activity in the row crop commodities. So, okay, and yeah.
So you're supporting like different stages of the supply chain within this specific industry.
Exactly, which is why finance and supply chain, building on top of F&O is so important to us, right? Because it just is a natural fit for those that are taking a commodity and making it into something else, right?
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So does Leverage operate as a global organization, or do you primarily serve specific regions?
Yeah, good question. So right now, our customers are mainly North America. Well, they're all North America, mainly the US, but we do have customers that have operations in Canada and Mexico. Okay. We have had conversations with partners in other areas of the world, in South Africa and Australia, New Zealand area, and there's those areas that have large agricultural presence. As of right now, we have our main presence in North America. That is something that we're we're looking to break into and become international beyond North America. But now that's primarily where our customer base is at.
Okay, cool. And if I'm a implementation partner, how do I know I'm engaged with one of these companies within the what did you say, the grow produce industry?
Yep. So if so there are some unique things about these processors and commodity handlers that that no other kind of that don't have the appropriate F&O doesn't have the right ability to handle. Okay,
Sure.
so when you look at inbound grain coming into the facility and the contracts that these facilities have with growers, there's some unique things that are happening. There's markets, futures markets, these exchanges that that commodities are traded on, that have unique aspects towards being able to track, right? So those entities that are hedging their commodities on these exchanges need specific functionality to be able to handle and track contracts with growers and how that's hedged on the open market. Okay. Not only that, but when they're selling these commodities, they have to keep track of that as well. And that's something that's really important to these businesses to manage their position. So they have to manage what do they have bought, whether currently or in the future, and what do they have sold, either currently or in the future. And those positions are very important to keep track of. So if you're dealing with companies that are hedging on these markets for commodity purchases, keeping track of positions, we call them long short positions or daily position reports. Those things, these are the types of transactions and reporting that leverage handles, and that's really specific and unique to the grain industry and really the agribusiness industry, in general. So those types of entities are, you'll know that, those are the types of entities that we handle.
And I'm a relative novice into futures and how they operate, but as I understand it, the reason these industries operate with those accounting approaches is to essentially provide confidence in the future of what they're going to sell, the produce they're growing today, tomorrow.
Well, yes, but I will also maybe further that to say, the way that the futures market goes up and down, right? And the commodity prices, the way that the futures markets trade, these entities need to have assurance that they can make a margin. And so there's a kind of offsetting sell that happens with the buy, right? Or vice versa. As you're selling, you're also buying. So it provides for a understanding what your margin is without being beholden to the upswings or the downswings of the market.
Right, got it. So you mentioned you have existing partners that you work with, or end customers specifically that you work with in the US. How do you work with the Microsoft F&O partner ecosystem?
Yeah, and so you're right. We do have the U.S. and North America customers, but we do have we currently have 5 partners, software implementation partners that we're working with, and I think that's an important distinction because we are not looking to sign up a lot of partners. We want to be very strategic and intentional about the partners that we do sign up. Okay. And because agriculture is such a unique industry, understanding the concepts of a futures market and basis, and how that impacts these companies and their operations, it's really important to have a baseline understanding of agriculture concepts. Okay, and so we work and we are looking for partners that have some of that knowledge. Right now, we're not asking the partners to be to be experts necessarily, because we are the experts, and so we like to do is we like to come alongside our partners and provide the leverage expertise for an implementation, for support with our customers, and we like to partner together. We like to have our partners be the face of the relationship, right?
Yep.
And we come alongside and we basically help our partners be better in this space, right? And so we can walk the walk and we can talk the talk, and allow that partner to provide their expertise within F&O, and the Microsoft stack, and we are able to kind of come alongside and provide the leverage specific expertise and knowledge that helps our customers.
That's excellent, and a really, really good answer. I mean, it comes up a lot when I'm working with SI partners globally, where you're looking for a deeper partnership and you're looking for a build-up of that trust over time as well. So, I mean, in terms of building, sorry, John.
I was just going to jump in. I mean, we want to be experts on the leverage functionality and providing that to our customer. We're happy to. We don't want to necessarily build out our team to become an F&O experts, right? That's why we want to build deep relationships with SI partners, right? To be able to come alongside. So that way we can keep our workforce, our team focused on building out the leverage functionality.
Excellent. Excellent. And in terms of kind of walking the walk, are you engaged in sort of some of the new technologies and utilizing AI across some of these industries?
Yeah, I mean, so AI is big, isn't it? You can't go to any conference or anything without talking about Copilot and AI. So we are engaged in trying to figure out what that means. Okay, I feel like we're a lot like everybody. We don't have anything specific that we have that we're going to market with yet, but the focus for us really is, what is leverage going to provide for the future of these companies? Okay, and it has to, and it will incorporate agents. Agentic ERP is coming, and 2026 is going to be a big year for us in terms of helping to bring together some agents that will help our leverage customers become operationally more efficient, and kind of take away some of the menial tasks. So we don't have anything specific now, but I think this is a huge differentiator and strategic advantage for leverage. One thing that if you look across the ag platform as it relates to ERP, a lot of the existing legacy ERPs that are out there and solutions that are out there are 20, 25, 30 plus years old. Okay, and that's a huge opportunity that we see as leverage, and which is why we're out there helping to kind of show what is the future of ERP, is because a lot of these legacy existing ERPs are kind of just basically doing what they do and not thinking about the future, right?
Yeah.
And leverage on top of the Microsoft stack, which includes Copilots and how that's going to change things in the future, is a huge strategic differentiator for us compared to our competitors. And really, leverage is the only ERP built on D365 or otherwise that has that thought towards how are we going to utilize the technology going into the next generation of ERP, especially in the ag industry. ERPs are old and legacy, and they don't have the ability to think about agents that's going to be the next generation of the future of your accounting software. And so yeah, our focus is really to bring agents to life for our customers, where we can help merchandisers buy and sell grain better. We can help accounting staff, apply tickets to contracts better. And so it's really exciting to be able to think about what that means for your accounting software into the future.
Amazing. And I think it's such an unbelievable risk for end customers who are using this legacy software. I think that there's both external risks in terms of things like hackers and but also internal, right, with servers and hardware issues that are starting to creep in as this technology becomes more and more obsolete. So do you see a lot of resistance to change within kind of the agribusiness industry?
Absolutely. I'll give you a couple stats. So, you talk about the legacy systems. 19% of our converted companies have come from AS400. And so these are companies that are still using AS400, and we have prospects that are still using AS400. This is not an industry that likes to change, at least in the back end accounting software side of things, right? There's a lot of technology that's going into agriculture, at the field level, and automated technology with equipment and whatnot. The back end office system in accounting software has been slow to change, and they need to, right? And because of all of those things that you just mentioned, is that cybersecurity, not even in the cloud potentially, those things are not only just security risks and risks that are posed as external, but also just like opportunity risk. If you're not ready with a system that's going to propel you into the future, that's just you're going to be left behind. So therein lies the opportunity for us as leverage and for partners to to seize on this this change that's happening in agriculture ERP.
So I'm a finance and supply chain management solution implementation partner. I've got my prospect. I've identified that they are, they're an agribusiness. They are maybe part of the supply chain. Maybe they're the grower or the farmers themselves. What does that path forward looks like with leverage? How do we kind of kick that off?
Yeah. First of all, get a hold of me, get a hold of us. You can see that at our leverage.com website, or you can email me directly. Feel free to reach out and we can have a conversation about what that looks like. What we'd like to do is then we would sign up the partner with a reseller agreement and really kind of talk about how that prospect or additional prospects looks, and kind of talk about our relationship going forward.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. What does 2026 look like for leverage? What are some of your kind of key focuses for next year?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about AI, and so leverage. We schedule 3 releases in a year. We just actually yesterday released our 3rd release of 2025. So we follow that cadence, and we followed that since 2020, where we've had 3 releases each year. Typically scheduled around the May timeframe, the September, October timeframe, and the December timeframe. So we're going to continue with that cadence. We are focused on expanding our abilities and bringing some better, expanding our abilities into new markets. Feed mill markets we've had a number of prospects in the feed mill industry that are interested in leverage, and they have some even more unique functionality that we're going to be bringing out. AI is obviously one that we're going to be focused on, and how do we kind of develop agents and think about agents, productize agents for leverage. And I mean, we've got a lot of momentum, I'll say, at the end of 2025. We've got a number of prospects that are in the end game of their implement, are getting ready to implement, and we have great momentum going into 2026. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we're excited about what the future brings.
Sounds like a really positive outlook, and a great time to kind of get in touch and help drive some of that momentum as well. Are you seeing sort of similar things in the wider industry?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of across. I mentioned that we're primarily, we've got a lot of traction in the processors, and that is true. We're getting more and more in the grain handlers, and actually some fruit and nuts facilities that are talking to us, and so we're widening out our market presence. One of the reasons why some of these processors are we're taking so much advantage of these processors is a lot of them are on GP. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that the GP is announced that, end of service or end of support in 2029, and they have to make decisions. They have to think about what does their future look like. And so that's why we've got a lot of traction with GP customers. And in the agribusiness, there's kind of three bolt-ons to GP that are of note. There's Cinch, Intellego, and Feed Mill Manager. All three of those are ag-specific products built on top of GP. And so 2029 is coming up quick, and making those decisions are needing to be done now. That's also important to note that the path for GP has been kind of moved from GP to BC, moved from GP to BC. Well, that doesn't have to be the case, especially in the ag world, because there is nothing on BC for them to go to, right? So the path from GP to F&O with leverage is a viable path. So if you're a partner out there and you see an agribusiness that's on GP with GP or Intellego or Cinch or I guess Feed Mill Manager or others that I might not be aware of, there is a path forward with them to a solution on F&O that works for them.
Excellent. And I think that as you've kind of mentioned, with GP, there were these enhancements that a lot of organizations used. But actually, although GP is sort of perceived as a smaller solution, over the last few decades, if you will, companies have built this up, and they've built up that complexity within their business, and it might just not scale accordingly either.
Right. Yep, that's exactly right. And not only that, but there really isn't a solution that's built on BC right now that can accommodate them. So
yeah, they've got unique challenges, and they need a solution like leverage that can meet them
out of the box. And if they are thinking about customization route, it's a lot of pain. So
and it's a lot of
the
risk
box solution is good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, massively. So if there's something that's pre-built, has been proven to work with other end customers, I think it makes a lot of sense. I know as well, speaking, in our work at Seer 365, I speak to a lot of partners, and all of them are challenged by trying to transition a lot of these GP customers. A lot of them are very entrenched, if you will. They like the solutions that they've built. So anything that you can do to kind of ease that pain and make that conversation a little bit easier, I think is an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, and going back to your comment or question about resistance to change, I mean, organizational change management is big. It really is. And but a lot of companies, even though there might be some resistance to change, there are a lot of companies are seeing that they need to come into the now on their ERP, and so it's time. And we're ready.
Excellent. No, thank you, John. I really appreciate you joining today. Any sort of last comments or points that you wanted to make on today's session?
Well, I really appreciate Rufus you having us on, and I look forward to having discussions with other F&O partners and talking about what we can do for broadly within this industry, and looking for great partnerships and great relationships. So appreciate having us.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And if you are interested in working or exploring a new partnership with Leverage, please do get in touch. Anyone at Seer 365, from your partner success manager to myself, will be more than happy to connect you for further discussions. thank you all for your time, and all that remains for me is to wish you a great holiday and to see you on the next one in the new year. Thank you very much.